All right, are we live again? Will it connect to the same one, or are we all new? So let's take a look. Power keep cutting off. Plug this phone up. The hell saying. I don't know if we can different or if we got something here. All right, but we are back. All righty, let's give everybody a chance to get back up in here. I'm glad I got a lot of songs. Got done. Give everybody a chance to get back up in here. I'm going for a little vocal intercourse. Can we get a little vocal intercourse? You might. If you can recall, Silver Source, people of music became watered down with NWA and other gangs, the clown. Remember. Remember. She crossed over. And her shit went lame. Get the point. Crossing over only lasts for a while. You can't substitute. Flash for south, especially in support. You gotta be yourself. You'll get lost in like someone else. You'll be exposed. You can't make a transition from style to style. You'll get tripped up without a stammer. And that sounding hard. You'll sound like hammer when you're dealing and local in the court. Can you welcome the moon? I generate the underground sound. I dominate and control. So enter the black hole. If you're dead, you're all scared because you're not prepared. There's no dancers. Right. There's no laser light. Just bring your mic and be ready to fight. 10 rounds of action. Actions of all sorts. Let's engage. And move for intercourse. Hip-hop artists don't fit the bill. Those booty raps might work as a thing, but as an underground state packs no sweet or sizzle. Leave them on, Pharaoh or Biddle, or North and Penn, or around the bend, it doesn't matter. I'll splatter those phony hotels with a brick. And if you sound like a old wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I can knock your ass out. Next up, this is Google in the court.
I know something went wrong. I was having too much fun. You know something went wrong. But let's ride it out.
I'm coming at y'all real. And that's what I did. It's really hard to be a Christian in 2000.
Come on, devil, turn the power off again. Do what you gotta do, buddy. Come on.
Everybody seems to have a double
You
standard.
ain't gonna stop my joy. Come
We
on.
don't get no
Bring it.
respect in the world.
Turn the power off again. What the hell?
We are considered soft. We are considered
We don't care.
dumb.
Do what you gotta do.
But yet these people have no moral. And you see what a world is going to.
We gonna dance before the Lord.
So this is for those who are
You ain't stopping this.
who are remaining, who are thinking on the kingdom. Let's get it. Every day I dance before the Lord. So I stay connected to Jesus like an extension cord. I walk upon the stripe as long as my name is in the book of life. Let my light shine. Let it broadcast worldwide. I let Jesus be my guide. And if he lets me live another day, I'll continue to come to the people say stop saying it. Come to God and start winning. I roll with the Lord who is in control. Heaven is my goal, this earth is a first level. I help my fellow man deal with the devil. He's a liar, he's a fraud. His desire is to keep me away from my God.
Come on.
The most people I come off as righteous, but if tempted, I might just do a few of the things that God can't stand.
If you're sitting down right now, get up and move.
I've been reborn, I've been hit with many opportunities. I cannot remain in unity.
Tell that devil he can turn the power off 10 times. It ain't gonna stop our joy.
But it feels like I'm missing out. Most other people that I meet who lie.
Turn it all off.
And cheat seems content while Christians like me. I'm time to spend
Come on, turn it off again.
Be the other way around. I'm not complaining, but how can you tell someone who's living it up to give it up when they're posting high? Doing right is a headache. There's got to be a better road to take. You know, a middle ground between Jesus and Satan. I know who to follow me. I'm not debating, but what I'm waiting for. Satan is winning the battle, but God is winning the war. Every day I dance before the Lord, so I stay connected to Jesus like an extension cord. I walk on all the stripes as long as my name is in the book of life. So let my light shine, let it broadcast worldwide. I let Jesus be my guide, and if he lets me live another day, I'll continue to come to the people and say, stop being selfish, stop saying that, come to God, and start winning. I roll with the Lord, he is in control. He's in heaven is my goal. This earth is the first level. I help my fellow man deal with the devil. He's a liar, he's a fraud. His desire is to keep me away from my God. It's a struggle every day to stay on course. I'm behind the enemy line, so I use the word of God as my force, my resource. Becoming immune to the negativity that surrounds me. The devil has a bounty on my head. Sometimes I dread coming outdoors. I feel like I've been better for war. But it's okay, the devil can play his mind game, but he can't hurt me where it counts. That's spiritually. He tries to distract me physically, financially, but these things don't mean jack to me. I turn my back to me. It's not easy. It's in man, niggas to be greedy. So I always want what we can't have. A material means nothing to me. Hey, don't make me laugh. A people doing things with a difference is all show. Cause both of these people take me where I got to go. But if I cheat or steal, then I lose my protection. For a house, for election, to be under the direction of a sick demon. Whose goal is to own my soul, no thanks. I roll with the Lord who is in control. Every day I dance before the Lord, so I stay connected. He's like an extension cord. I welcome all the stripes as long as my name is in the book of life. Let my light shine, let it broadcast worldwide. I let Jesus be my guide, and if he lets me live another day, I continue to come to the people and say, stop being selfish, stop sinning. Come to God and start winning. Minister Brother Derek, let's get it. Minister Brother Derek, I'm coming at you.
Hold on a second, y'all here come.
And that's what I did. It's really hard to be a Christian.
Let's pause that. We getting ready here. First thing we got to do, let's drop this anime. Let's drop this Chrome. And where am I at? Alrighty. Are y'all ready? Let's fix this here. Want to keep turning the power off on us, huh? Even though we believe that it should be Saturday, we'll do it on Sunday. You can keep turning the power off. It ain't gonna stop us from doing what we gotta do here. It ain't gonna stop us at all. My hand's still wet, y'all. All right. We got a dress shirt on. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta get the minister hat. How we gonna preach without the minister hat? And let me turn the light on. We didn't have it on. All right. Let's go ahead and get this in. Let's go ahead and get this in before he decides to turn the power off again. So we got our original screen back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the minister, the reverend, the disciple, Brother Darkchild. Our topic today is, do you have Jesus' attention? Does he know you? When you pray, does he pay you any mind? What are some ways that you can do to make sure that Jesus hears you, that Jesus knows you, that Jesus knows to come into you? What are some of the things you can do to attract Jesus? That question came to me, and so I went looking, and I came across this article. And I hope this person doesn't mind me using this, but I think it's a great article. So let's get it. Saturday's sermon is now in full effect. Let's see if the power go out in the middle of it. Now let's get it. I would like to ask, what do you have to do to get Jesus' attention? See, that's the one thing I like about the Spirit. Not only does he tell you what you want, he tell you where to go get it from. I would have never clicked on this. What do you have to do to get Jesus' attention? How do you get him to notice you? How do you impress Jesus so that he pays attention to you? I don't think this is a trivial question. It's not a question people don't ask. Maybe we aren't so upfront about it or so direct about it. But we are often asking the question, what do I have to do to get Jesus' attention? How do I get Jesus to notice me and love me? How do I get him to do the things that I think are important? Do I get it by pressure, by argument, by logic, by being needy and helpless? How do you get Jesus to love you? What if I were to tell you to put on paper the top 3 strategies that will convince Jesus to pay attention to your need? What would you put down? How would say that you would try to persuade Jesus to love you? Now I know what the right answer is. What I will be interested in is your real answer, your honest answer. How would you finish this sentence? Jesus, you need to love me and help me. And then your reason why. I know the right answer, but I wonder what the honest answer is. Today I ask you to read a story with me in Luke chapter 7 concerning a group of people who tried to get Jesus' attention. In this story, we will see exactly how they attempted to persuade Jesus to do their will. Jesus, at this point in the Gospel of Luke, had just finished the Sermon on the Mount. We begin reading verse 1 of chapter 7. When Jesus had finished saying all this in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum. There's a centurion's servant whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. The centurion heard of Jesus and sent some elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him, "This man deserves to have you do this, because he loves our nation and has built our synagogue." So Jesus went with them. He was not far from the house when the centurion sent friends to say to him, "Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." This centurion is showing a lot of faith, my friend. He's showing a lot of faith. And he's not a Jew. He's not a Hebrew. He's probably a heathen or a pagan. He didn't come himself because he didn't think he was worthy enough. He sent other people. Then he sent people to tell him, "Hey, don't even bother to come. I believe in you so much you don't have to come. But I know if you give the word, my servant will heal." I got faith. That's what he's saying. I got faith in you that you can do it. I ain't never seen you, but I heard of you. And what I heard is all good. And I believe if you just say the word, you ain't got to come. You don't have to come show me. All you got to do is just say and happen. I believe that. Do you have that faith in Jesus? Do you believe? Or do you just say you do when you're around a bunch of other church people? Do you really believe? This man is showing the faith that he has in Jesus. He's showing it. He's touching Jesus in so many ways by showing how much respect and love and power that he has for a man he's never seen. This is written down for our benefit, because just like that man has never laid eyes on Jesus, but he heard, he listened, he believed. We are to read, hear the word, and we are to believe. Not I gotta see it. But read and believe. Remember, I told you, it's a lot of people that seen Jesus. Where they at now? A lot of people that seen him, but didn't believe. They in baby hell right now on slow burn. All this time. Thousands of years. Will you join them in that slow burn? Or will you do what they didn't do? Because they were there and didn't do it. You only hearing about it. If they were there and they still allowed Jesus to be crucified, they allowed God to die while he was with them. In people who've never seen him. can they have faith? If you have faith without seeing him, that's more than the people who did see. He will come to you more. The 12 disciples were with Jesus. John, Luke, Matthew, Thomas. They saw him. They saw the things he did. They saw his power. We've never seen him. And if we believe, we're showing more faith than any of them could. Remember the last time we talked religion? I told you about Jesus walking on the water. And they were amazed. And Peter, wanting to be the leader, wanting to be the big man, he wanted to walk out there on the water too. And Jesus told him, come on. And he walked and he was doing fine. And then the wind started to blow and the wind distracted him. And he started to sink. And he cried, please, Master, I'm sinking, save me. And Jesus said, why do you have such little faith? So even though he was walking on the water, he let the wind distract him. And he lost his faith and started to sink. He had Jesus right there staring at him. And he still lost his faith. So imagine if you, who have never seen Jesus walk on the water, you've never seen Jesus feed thousands of people with a couple loaves of bread and a couple fish. Imagine the awe he would have for you. That you have faith. Let them marinate. Man that was with him, that was participating in the great things that he was doing. He let something as small as the wind make him lose his faith. Are you trying to come to Jesus and are you letting your mate distract you and making you lose your faith? Are you letting your friends, your boss, your club organization, are you letting people distract you from building a relationship with Jesus? Do you let things get in the way? Your car's not running. Your rent's going to be late. Your hours are cut from the job. Do you allow these things to distract you from continuing your relationship with Jesus so that you can have a relationship with God? Are you letting everyday things distract you, turn you away, take your attention, put Jesus on the back burner? Are you allowing these things to happen? And then you wonder, well, when you do decide to come around, he don't rush to you. You wonder why when you ask for something, you don't get it. And then you say, oh, well, you know, it must be fake. You can't treat Jesus like you treat your dog. When you want to play with your dog, you call him to you. When you don't want to be bothered and he wants to play, you send him away. Is that how you do Jesus Christ? My cat is right here, underneath this table I'm sitting at my feet. He knows when I'm doing the show. That I'm concentrating on doing my show. But every once in a while, she'll jump up and think that I want to play with her. And I have to remind her, you have to wait patiently. You expect Jesus to sit on the back burner and wait? Do you treat Jesus like he's Doug? Let's get back to the story. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed, and turning to the crowd following him, he said, I tell you, I have not found such great faith even in Israel. Then the men who had been sent returned to the house and found the servant well. Now hold your Bibles open here. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Those of y'all who actually did do it. Right now, I want you to imagine the scene that day 2,000 years ago. Try to picture the Sea of Galilee, 10 miles across a bright, sunny, perhaps a spring day, and there on the shore is Capernaum. On the other side of Capernaum are the gardens of a long valley that comes all the way up from the Mediterranean Sea to the west. It's a wonderful and fertile area, not arid and dead like so much of the Middle East. Today, this area is filled with oranges and flowers and flowering buds. It is very rich. It's a very rich and prosperous region. Since it's on the shore of the Sea of Galilee, Capernaum is also an old fishing village. And it has several names with different people occupying it throughout history. A little bit down the road is a new Roman village. The Roman village and the historic Jewish village are near each other but separate. It is in this Jewish village where most of Jesus' ministry is spent. He has very dear friends here, and very important things happen in the village of Capernaum. So Jesus enters into the town on a day like most other days. There are tax collectors are in Capernaum because Capernaum is at the turning point where the road crosses the north end of the Sea of Galilee. Naturally, there needs to be a government presence where there is commerce. They collect the money from the caravans coming through just like a toll road. Sometimes you pay for every mile that you drive on the road, sometimes for the value of your freight. When they say drive, that means, you know, if you got something pulling the cart. They ain't had no cars back then. They had horses or camels. Here in this town is a man who is a centurion. That means he's a middle-level soldier with authority over about 100 people, maybe a few more, maybe a few less. He works for King Herod Antipas, who governs the region as part of the Roman Empire. We know that this particular centurion is probably a fairly wealthy man. We read that he has supported and built a synagogue for the Jewish people. We also know that he is Gentile, for Herod recruited his soldiers from among the Samaritans and other people to the north of Israel. He is therefore not Jewish, nor does he worship in the sanctuary that he built. Now that you have come to know that this centurion is probably really only marginally welcome in the old village of Capernaum. As a Gentile, he is probably a pagan. Now we have some feeling for the plight of the centurion. Stationed in Capernaum, our pagan centurion wishes to develop friendship with the Jews and perhaps with their God. So here's a man who is living between two different cultures. He is living between the ancient Jewish Capernaum and the modern kingdom of Herod and Rome. He is partly Jewish in the sense that he loves the people. He gives them enough money to build a synagogue or has a major role in building it. And yet he is not one of them. He is the employment of the secular king who serves the hated Roman Empire. How will this man attract Jesus' attention? Not a Jew. Here's how the story begins. Luke writes, when Jesus finished saying all of this in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum. And there was a centurion's servant whom his master valued highly, and he was sick and he was about to die. So this centurion wanted more than anything to get Jesus' attention. He wanted Jesus to heal his servant. It was not selfish. It was not small. It was not out of place. It was not inappropriate. In fact, it was the opposite of all those things. It was exactly right. It was appropriate and it was very tender. So how does the centurion go about getting Jesus' attention? How will the centurion attract Jesus? He sends the elders. When the centurions heard that Jesus was coming, he sent some of the Jewish elders to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. That's how he thought he would get attention. He sent people who seem to be important people. He has them bring the message. He thinks, I will send some of the people Jesus recognizes. Jesus will identify with them. Jesus will be impressed with them. And he will come to my house, heal my servant. I will get what I want, and we will be on our business, and I will have a healthy servant. So this is the first way to attempt to gain Jesus' attention. Choose important and prominent messengers. The status of the messengers will draw Jesus' attention. Some of us might try the same exact strategy. We use spiritual name dropping to impress God. Oh, God bless me, for I have read, do you weird? Oh, Jesus, have mercy on my soul, for I am a Calvinist. You can imagine how silly this seems to God. But let us not delay over the centurion's efforts. Let's continue to the elders of Capernaum and see what they do. The elders trying to impress the centurion have their own way to try to put pressure on Jesus. Let me give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways that they tried to put pressure on Jesus. 1, Luke says when they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him. It means the literal meaning they pressured him or extorted him. They called to him, they stood by him, and they said, you need to come help this man. It was no longer a request. They were setting the agenda for Jesus. It was an instruction, a request. It was no longer a request. It was an instruction. You need to come and help. They attempted to pressure Jesus with their emotional urgency. Some of us try to gain God's favor by instructing God. We tell God, you need to do this. We set the agenda for him. We instruct God. 2, now your translation doesn't say this, but the original says, come quickly and heal this man. Now earnestly should be translated something like quickly or hurry. Jesus, the servant, is about to die. Quickly come see this man. That second strategy is to get Jesus' attention, to put time pressure on Jesus. Time pressure is a powerful tool that encourages us not to think, but simply obey the time pressure. Hurry, you'll be late. Any of you ever had time pressure? You know, yeah, I gotta do that right now, or it's on my schedule, or I got to do that right now because my beeper's going up my BlackBerry. I've got to hurry. That's what the elders were trying to do. They were kind of like a personal BlackBerry screaming, hurry, hurry, hurry. Some of the attempt to motivate Jesus to live in our calendars and our schedules. 3, the third form of getting Jesus' attention is with the pressure of professional duty. The elders continue by telling Jesus that the centurion is a worthy person. You've got to do this not only because we are urging you, but because the neglecting the interests of a man as worthy as this centurion will not look good on you. Now the Greek word here is azios, meaning worthy in the sense of comparable. The centurion, they claim, is comparable in status to Jesus. The elders are saying, I told you I don't read these in advance. I just skim it and see if it's worth reading, and then we go. I got lost. All right, the centurion is the equivalent to you, Jesus. He is your partner, Jesus. He's a centurion. You're a rabbi. You know you owe it to him like a professional courtesy. We're the elders, he's a centurion, and you're the rabbi. You owe it to him. You can't, he's not just some guy on the street. Just ignore him. Probably quite a few of us in this congregation feel that same pressure every workday. We know we ought to spend more time with our family, but the professional duty is very powerful. This is the pressure the elders tried to use on Jesus. The fourth form of pressure is that the elders define what Jesus must do in order for Jesus to have their approval. Let me say that again. The fourth form of pressure is that the elders define what Jesus must do in order for Jesus to have their approval. The elders inform Jesus that Jesus must go and do what the man requests. In effect, they define the task. Sometimes a woman will say to her husband, "Oh, I am having trouble with my computer." Even though she does not say the word, she may be intending to ask for help. Just stating the needs implies that another person must meet the need. The elders do not allow Jesus to offer a suggestion to have his own divine idea or to heal in a way that he might graciously prefer. Not at all, nor are they inviting or requesting help. They are now specifying what Jesus must do. Jesus must go with them, just exactly as they've been instructed. That's subtle and sinister pressure. Telling Jesus how he must meet your needs in your way. Perhaps you and I have tried that stunt on Jesus a time or two, telling Jesus how he must help us. I need to get something to drink. 5, social pressure. And they add social pressure because he loves our people. He loves us, so you must go heal a servant. That's social pressure. He's our friend. And if he's our friend, then you need to comply just the way he requests because he's our friend and you're under obligation because he's our friend. So never mind what you had in mind and never mind what's right. You have to do this because he's our friend. He loves us. Everyone here has attended social functions which we did not wish to attend. We do this from the weight of social pressure. Sometimes we try to pressure Jesus into following our instructions by insisting that since we belong to Jesus, he is in need of obeying our instructions. 6, finally, the elders add one more reason. He loves our nation and he built our synagogue. Now we know what they want. Now we understand what's going on with the elders. We understand why they are pushing Jesus so hard. The centurion gives us money. Let me try a paraphrase. Jesus, you need to do this because he gives us money. We are the elders and we get the money and he builds our synagogue, So treat him good and heal his servant and let's get on with it. You wonder if it isn't more to it. Perhaps the elders were not only thinking about the past, but also the future. Jesus, we are putting pressure on you because there could be more money where it came from. The elders are greedy. Have you ever talked to God and tried to negotiate a deal with God? You might promise to start tithing if he heals you. Wow, that's impressive, no doubt. Or you might promise to stop drinking excessively if God will give you a promotion. Or you might promise to be a good parent if only God will give you a child. Underlying all such bargaining is greed. I try to make a deal so I can have what I want. What a lot of people think about getting the attention of God is that you pressure Jesus to conform to your commands, your demands. You pressure him. You put some heat on him. Time, social obligation, professional obligation, and all the rest. Sometimes we hint to Jesus that if he doesn't do what we want, then we will suggest to others that he's not really so great a savior after all. You put the screws to the thumbs and make him comply because he's got to do it. Because we need the money and we want to be in charge and we want to be in control. And we like to be the elders and we like to have a brand new synagogues. We like to have brand new synagogues. We like to have big new cool stuff. And if you will just comply with us, then we can have all the cool stuff. Now notice the unspoken words. Listen for what you don't hear and what the elders say. What the elders say that you don't hear. You don't hear the word servant. Did you notice this was supposed to be all about the centurion's servant? Why don't we hear about a word about the servant from the elders? Because the elders don't care about the servant. They don't care about the servant that's dying. What they want is the good connection with the centurion and the money for the synagogue. That is why they also believe that pressure is the best tool for getting Jesus' attention. Again, what we've got here is greedy elders. Their real goal is clear enough in the end. They want Jesus to do something for them, for the elders. They want to be the center of the story. They do not care about the dying servant at all. These elders are confused. Listen how they twisted the truth. The centurion said, go. Number one. Number two, ask him. But they didn't ask at all. We saw that they went and instructed Jesus what they wanted him to do, but sounded very different from what the centurion said for them to do. Let's leave the elders for now. They are of no spiritual use to us at all. Their ministry appeal to Jesus is to pressure Jesus, twist the words of the centurion, and control the overall story because they get money from this man. These men are greedy. Yet Jesus goes with them. It's amazing. In spite of the unworthy way in which they approached him, Jesus allowed the story to go on and heads out for the centurion's home. And with Jesus headed out that way, the focus of the story returns to the centurion. What we find out is that while all of this is happening with Jesus and the elders, something changes in the thinking of the centurion. He realizes that something has gone wrong, and he's already taken a new approach. He gives up on the elders, and he sends different people to Jesus. So after Luke tells us that Jesus went with the elders toward the centurion's place, he goes on to say that Jesus was not far from the house. When the centurion sent friends to Jesus to say to him, Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I did not deserve to have you come under my roof. Now, we don't know exactly why the centurion changed his mind, but we do read that this second delegation he sends out to Jesus were some of his friends. Did somebody tell him what was going on? Did he stop and say, or what have I done? Or I shouldn't have sent the elders? All we know is that he changed his mind and he sent these friends to Jesus instead. And he tells them precisely what they ought to say to Jesus. Watch now and hear how different his approach is from the elders. This is the centurion's own approach as he attempts to gain Jesus' attention through words he instructs his friend to use when they go out to meet Jesus and talk to him on the road. 1. In the words he gives them begins with Lord. Lord, we read that he told his friends to say, Lord, do not trouble yourself. He addresses Jesus as Lord. That's a respectful title and all the more remarkable in that it comes from a pagan talking to a Jew. In this context, it means the same as a Jew calling Jesus rabbi, perhaps the pagan equivalent of rabbi. In fact, he is saying, you are the rabbi, I'm the guy in need of help. I recognize that you are in charge of the spiritual issues here. I am in charge of my soldiers. You're in charge of the spiritual issues. No matter what these elders said about hurry up and get down here and take care of this guy needs, you are my rabbi. And I show you respect as my rabbi. The better way to get Jesus' attention begins with the recognition that you know Jesus is the teacher and you are the student. 2. Centurion says, do not trouble yourself. Listen to how he tries to get his attention. Rabbi, you are not a soldier in my command. You are the rabbi and I am the student. So in effect, he says, do not trouble yourself. You have no obligation to me. The centurion makes the remarkable observation that Jesus might be busy, might have other plans, might not want to take a detour to the centurion's house. This is considerate and humble. This statement is a recognition that Jesus is a free agent who's able to choose his own activities for the day. You understand, don't you, that many of us like to order Jesus around and tell him what to do as if he's obligated to follow our instructions. Our centurion now acknowledges that Jesus is not obliged to help. He as much as says, you don't have to bother with me. Now he's being honest. I think he's being honest. I understand that I'm a pagan. You're a rabbi. You don't owe it to me because of anything I've done. I'm not asking you for a favor. This isn't the Godfather that you owe me a favor. I'm just asking you for your help. 3, not worthy. Our centurion now reconsiders and declares, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof. I personally am not up to your high standards. I cannot expect you to come to my house to help me because I am a pagan and a Gentile. I, as a person, am not worthy. I am not your equal that you should come to my house. I am not your peer. I am a centurion and you are a rabbi. I am not of the status that a observant Jew will come under my roof. It isn't supposed to happen that way in your culture, and I respect that. You are under no pressure from me. This is the third way that he turns Jesus free. Years ago, one comedian in movies had a saying, I don't get no respect. Our centurion will make a third statement to his friends. I do not consider myself worthy to stop you on the road and ask for help. Notice the change. The elder declared that the man is worthy because he's a ranking officer and he contributes money to the synagogue. Wow, that should get Jesus' attention. Now the centurion backs away from that and declares the truth. I am not worthy to have you under my roof, and now I'm not worthy of stopping you on the road to ask you for a favor. Now understand, these are the words of a centurion. In those days, any soldier had the right to ask a local person to carry his gear for a mile or two. A centurion was allowed to order local people to do all kinds of things if he found it necessary. Yet to Jesus, he says, I don't consider myself worthy. This word worthy has a sense of strong enough. I don't have such a great force that I can come to you and stop you in public and expect you to meet my needs. I could never be your equal. If the governor were driving down the road in his car or her car, and has the big governor entourage, and you were standing alongside the road with a little sign that says, Governor, please stop. My name is David. You think they stop the motorcade? Laugh. They run you right over. Laugh. They don't stop for people who have signs. They just keep going. Likewise for the centurion. He's saying, Jesus, you are the powerful one. If I came up to you on the road with all my horses and all my centurion equipment and all my soldiers and all my tanks and my guns and everything, you wouldn't have to stop for me. I'm just a centurion, and I know I don't have the status to make you stop for me. But what he says in verse 7 is the one I want you to stay remembering. He says the word. He says, say the word, and my servant will be healed. And follow this. The centurion is really saying something like this. Jesus, I tried to pressure you. The elder really tried to pressure you. But I know that pressure is not the right way to get your attention. I really am unable to pressure you. But there's just one thing I want to say. Please heal my young servant. Jesus, you don't owe me a thing. I don't have a thing to offer you. You're the Lord. You're the rabbi. I'm just a soldier. There's only one thing I'm asking. I have a servant who is sick and I want him healed. Would you heal my servant? He appeals, not like the elders do, with all this external business, status, power, importance, money, social obligation, soldiers, and civic responsibilities. He says, look, I have a dying man in my care, and I understand, Jesus, that you have me in your care. Now follow this and see how this works. You have me in your spiritual care, just like I have a servant in my spiritual care. And if you can understand that I love my servant, I can understand that you care for me. Not because I am important, because a servant is just a servant, and they're a dime a dozen in the ancient world. But I love this servant, just like you love me. Centurion doesn't appeal to status, prestige, or importance. He just appeals to the inside values of Jesus, his goodness. There is goodness. He takes all the pressure off and he says, I just want to love my servant in the same way. I want you to love my servant in the same way that I know you love me. Help my servant, help me. Friends, let's make the same application with a different metaphor. Sometimes we treat Jesus like a piñata. Piñatas are these figures made to look like a person, but they are made out of paper mache. They are hollow and are made to be filled with candy. Children love piñatas because you hang them up somewhere in your yard, and the little children go loose on them. The children love piñatas, right? Oh yeah, they love the piñata, all right. You hang the piñata in the tree, and all these little children who love the piñata, what will they do next? They're going to get a big old stick, and they're going to beat the daylights out of their beloved piñata. They beat it to a pulp until he is smashed all over your backyard. And let me tell you the lesson here. Sometimes people will beat their best friends if they think they can get something good out of them. You with me? If you want to keep your favorite piñata for a while, you've got to put it on the highest shelf in your office to protect him from them little vultures. What makes us think that if there's somebody who has something that we would like, that if we hit them a little harder, that they'll give it to us. If we beat them a little bit more, they will comply with our needs. It's a little crazy, isn't it? It's a little crazy, yeah. Why do we treat Jesus like a piñata? Jesus is full of goodness and kindness and mercy, so we pressure Jesus, coerce Jesus, whine and complain that we are not treated well enough, all in hopes of convincing Jesus what worthy people we are. Yes, that's nuts. The point of this story is the question: how do you get Jesus' attention? Just start trying to manipulate him and come with the very simple premise that he loves you. How do you get God to love you? How do you get Jesus to pay attention to you? The answer is, what makes you think he already isn't paying attention to every word you say? You can never make him love you more than he loves you now. Simply approach him as the merciful God he is. Recognize that the thing which will get his attention is the love he already has for you. The thing that will get his attention is the love he already has for you. He has already given his life for you. He is already offering you so much. That is the foundation of your appeal to him. Let us pray. Lord, thanks for this story, so utterly simple, so profoundly true. Thanks, Lord, for loving us. We don't need to trick you or pressure you or coerce you. You just love us because you are good. And that's all we need. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. So what did we learn from that? Let me check my chat. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything that they want to share? Anyone? I'm sitting here and it is getting warmer. Real quick. 1 second, yeah. Actually, I can just bring y'all with me. I don't understand, why is it getting warmer in here? I got the AC on high and I have the oscillating fan on. So what's the humidity? 78 degrees, the humidity is 80%. God darn, humidity will not let up. Anything over 60% is bad. So it's 78 degrees even though it's nighttime. And the humidity is 80%. So hold on a sec, let me turn on the other one. It's ridiculous. Power going off is risky. I'll just put it on low. All the lights flash. Hold on a second. Let me get something. drink. Got a little bit of ice on it. All right, yeah. Phew, I hate the way an air conditioner starts. Why I gotta start with that smell? Phew. All right, y'all see the humidity's 80%. It won't let us go. There goes humidity. Let me see the hourly forecast. So that's saying 79%. At 12 o'clock, it's going to jump to 81. Oh, Lord, 81%. It's going to go to 84%. See, the humidity keep changing. 87% at 2 a.m. Oh, Lord. Please. 91% at 3 a.m. It's still 91% at 4 a.m. It's gonna go to oh my God! At 5 a.m. it's gonna be 93%. It's gonna be 91% at 6. 7. It's gonna be 92%. It's gonna be 86% at 8 a.m. 79% at 9 a.m. So it's gonna get as high as 89 today. And see, look, the humidity gonna drop. So at least when it gets its hottest, it's gonna drop at 4 p.m. All right, so it's gonna come down. All right, so at the 11 a.m. it's gonna come down to 66%. Okay, so we just gotta survive. So I'm gonna leave both air conditioners on. I'm gonna leave them both on, and hopefully I'll make it through the night. It's gonna hit 93%. Now the reason I didn't come back on last night was because after I got the phone with y'all, 2 black moths, big ones too, were trying to get into the apartment. I had the door closed. So I'm on the stairwell and I'm chasing these moths. And I was able to kill a fly and 2 moths, right? And somehow a fly still made it inside the apartment. But it's really stuffy in the hallway. So when I came inside, I had the one air conditioner on low. And all of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. And it occurred to me that the humidity had actually jumped to 93%. And I literally had the food sitting on the floor and I couldn't get up to put it away. So after about half an hour, I was able to get up and I went and looked. And I said, whoa, humidity 93%. So I turned the other fan on, the other air conditioner on, and when the other air conditioner came on and got going, it took about an hour altogether. I was able to get up and put the food away. And then I was like, oh man, I ain't gonna try and come back on. And so I didn't. Now I turned the other air conditioner on. Y'all just saw me do it. I feel a difference already. It's not how hot it is. how hot it is, unless it's in like the 90s or 100s. The humidity, it just needs 70 for degrees. But if you got 80s and 90s, by the air being warm, it's already harder to breathe it in and get the oxygen. But when you have the humidity in the 80 to 90% range, that means the air you breathing in, you're not getting oxygen. You're getting the humidity. Like right now, 93% of the air I'm breathing in right now, it is humid. It's hot air. And the humidity is squeezing out the oxygen. Because you can't inhale it. You're trying to squeeze the oxygen out of all that humidity. If you have compromised lungs, it makes it hard to separate the humidity to get the oxygen that you need to stay alive. And that's what makes it dangerous. You're not able. You have to breathe harder. You have to breathe deeper. But it's hurting you because you are inhaling that humidity. And your lungs are working harder trying to get the oxygen out the humidity. Right now, oxygen in every breath. The rest of it is humidity. It's making it humid, too humid for you to comfortably inhale. So you're trying to get that oxygen while it's encased around all this humidity. And it's hurting you to inhale that humid form of it. And then your body got to get the humidity out the way and just grab for that little 8% of oxygen. And it makes your work harder. And it makes you hotter than you were before. It makes your heart work harder. Because it's pumping the blood. And the blood don't have the same amount of oxygen as if the humidity was low. Now, if it's the wintertime and the humidity was 99%, it would slow you down, but because it's cool, you understand what I'm saying? It's not hot, warm humidity, it's cool. It'll actually help you in the wintertime because your body working harder will actually make you warmer in the cold. But when it's already steaming hot, and then you trying to draw in this hot breath when you're already hot, and then you're trying to take the oxygen out of all that humidity, it makes it difficult. And it makes you want to lie down. It makes you not want to move because you're putting all your energy into getting that little bit of oxygen throughout all that humidity. You're just trying to draw something out of it. Please. Give me something. If you want Jesus' attention, you already have it if you're doing what he asks you to do. But when you want something from him, or you want God to do something for you, this is a good lesson. I hope y'all paid attention. This is a good lesson. And it's from the Spirit to you through me. Don't come at him like he owe you something. He don't owe you nothing. He died on the cross for you. You owe him. He defeated death for you so that you can have an eternal life. He don't owe you nothing. Hey, Jesus, I followed you, and how come these demons got better cars than me and got prettier mates than me? Hey, you owe me. He don't owe you nothing. Them demons are going in the lake of fire. They're going to be burnt in the furnace. You're going to live forever. You owe him. Well, you know, I'm in the choir for you, Jesus, and I want to be the first singer. Why I got to be backup? When you seeing people ahead of you getting thrown in that fire, are you going to be in that line saying, you know, I want to be the first person to get into paradise? Or are you going to be glad that you're going to paradise? So if you're on the choir and the people think you sing good enough to be on the choir, then be glad you're on the choir. And work on your singing, and hopefully you can become lead singer. And if not, be glad you were on the choir. I ain't got to be the first person in paradise as long as I get there. I don't care if I'm the last one to go, but I gotta watch all the billion people on this planet get thrown in that furnace. And it's only 100 that actually go into paradise, and I'm standing in line. As long as I'm 101, I'm good. I'm not gonna complain. Everybody else get to go first. I gotta sit here and wait. Well, I gotta see everybody thrown in the furnace. God done it. I'll be glad to go. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Deacon. Oh, sorry, President Trump. Oh, sorry, Joe Biden. I'm sorry to see you go in the furnace. Oh, Denzel. Sorry to see you go. Kanye. Oh, I'm sorry to see you go. Daggone shame. Oh, The Rock. Oh, sorry. Sorry to see you go. Oh, man. Sorry to see you go, Snitch McConnell. Oh. Sorry to see you go. Look at everybody in the FBI get thrown in the furnace. I'm sorry to see you go. Look at the CIA. Look at them. You ain't so tough now, is you? Oh, look at you go. Andrew Jackson, go and get in that furnace, man. You know you're going in there. Go ahead in there. General Lee, get your fat butt in there, man. You know you're going. You're going in there, yeah. Yeah, see ya. Punta Kinte, go ahead and get in there. The Reverend Joseph Jackson, go ahead, get on in that furnace, man. And Al Sharpton, go ahead and get your butt in there, man. You ain't fat no more, but get in there anyway. Go ahead. As long as I ain't getting in there, shoot, I'm not gonna blame. I'm on the choir, I'm in the back. Hey, I'm on the choir. You sitting in the audience watching me. What I'm mad about? I should be lead singer. Somebody say, Brother Derek, I want to use one of your songs. And they go make $1 million off of it. And they say, you know, here's $30,000. Thank you, sir. 30,000, I wrote the daggone song. I should get it all. Shoot, I'll take my 30,000 and be happy. Maybe somebody else will say, can I use one of your songs too? Or can you write something for me? Or why should I get mad? He asked for permission to use the song. He took it and made $1 million. He gave me something. Where else was I going to get $30,000 from? I can't complain. You have to stop trying to think that just because you have a relationship with Jesus Christ that he owes you. His promise to you is an eternal life. That's his promise to you. He don't owe you nothing else. Now, if you ask him to help you get a promotion at the job, you still got to put the work in. You ain't putting no work. Why should he put work in? You ain't doing nothing. Oh, Jesus, I need my husband to stop cheating. He tell you, ask your husband why he cheating. Maybe you not doing something right in the bedroom. Maybe if you could do something different. Maybe he wants you to dress up in different clothes and put wigs on, or whatever you got to do in that bedroom. It is sanctified. Don't let somebody that ain't got no husband tell you, he only going to them women to get all sex. Well, why you not giving him? Why he got to go pay somebody to do something that you can do? Well, you know, he wants to do things with whips and chains, and he pays women. You his wife. Why he got to pay somebody else to do that? Your wife say that pot belly you got don't turn on no more. Put on one of them body suits with muscles. Do whatever you got to do in the sanctimony of that bedroom to keep both of y'all happy. I'm not going to do that to make that person happy. Then why you with him or her? If they not willing to do what you want them to do, because see, when you let somebody have fantasies, when they get married, they supposed to be able to live them out legally. Why they gotta hire somebody to do their fantasies? Why they gotta be longing? See, when you got somebody longing, somebody gonna see that longing and say, hey, they won't do it, but I will. And then you wonder why you can't keep nobody. Jesus, you won't send me nobody. It's somebody, you just ain't willing to do what it take to get them. You expect it to fall out the air. During the course of this CV, we got cheated out of 3 apartments. I wanted the apartment so that I could have a YouTube studio room. And I wanted to make that whole living room be the YouTube studio. And I wanted to bring in guest hosts and things to liven the show up. I wanted a full-size kitchen so that I could do cooking shows, and y'all can suggest recipes, and we can go to the market and get the things that we need, and we can come back and make them together. That's an idea that I had. Well, we didn't get neither of the 3 apartments. We still sitting right here. So obviously, it's not my time. It's probably coming, but obviously, Jesus got another plan. Why is it that with the great topics and the great stories we do, YouTube say it's only 4 of y'all here? Did I complain? Hey, Jesus, what are you doing? You only got 4 people here? That's all you can get? But I go look on these demonic channels and they got 100 people in the room. What they say about you? Maybe that's all he wanted here. Maybe he think I'm not ready. Maybe I think I'm ready. Maybe he say, hey, you need more polishing. If I ask him, I know what he's gonna say. The pathway to baby hell is wide open. The pathway to paradise is narrow. Think of your YouTube show the same way. The pathway for the demons is wide open. Your pathway is narrow. Very few people are going to be able to come in here and stay. A whole lot of people are going to be able to go into the other chats. Wide open. People look them over here. They're not going to be able to carry a conversation. Go look in the other chats. There ain't no conversations in that. You got one person talking about somebody. You got 5 people talking about that person. And people talking about somebody else. And then you'll find people saying, yeah, you know, I took the dog out today and, you know, it was nice outside. If you look at it seriously, if you actually look at the chat, how it break down, the majority of the people ain't talking about what the host talking about. They just in there chatting and networking. That's just a place to go. It ain't no purpose. I'm sitting there watching people in there. Yeah, you know, I make my sleep. I only put a little pinch of salt in there, you know. And then, you know, I put a little bit of oregano in there, you know, and then, you know, I slice up, you know, slice up some cucumbers and, you know, slice some onions in there, you know, and, you know, we do a Southern style down here, you know, and the person that's talking ain't talking nothing about no food. At least the majority of the people that are here talk about the topic. I would find it distracting if I'm reading the chat and it's not on the topic or near it. We talking about somebody getting shot, and people talking about, did you see the stocks today? Yeah, the stocks went up, you know. Like, you ain't paying me a bit of mind. That's distracting. But I go in chats, people ain't paying the topic no mind. I'm talking about DX. They talking about Lavanya. I'm talking about True. They talking about NASDAQ. The most annoying thing would be if you were talking about one person and people start suggesting, hey, did you talk about the other person? Be like, you're boring them. People start putting links in your chat about going to watch it. Hey, boy, play this show. This person talking about the same thing you talking about, but they talking about it better. Like what? I ain't saying a news link. I'm talking about a link of somebody else's chat. Yeah. That host talk about Chucky better than you do. Why don't you shut up and play him? I've been insulted, but they go ahead and do it. I ain't saying go look at that person. They telling you play it right now. We tired of hearing you talk about it. We want to hear this person talk about it. That's rough right there. That's rough right there. We'd be like, Brother Derek, you talking about Donald Trump, but he's live right now. Okay, let's go see what he's saying. That wouldn't bother me. I was talking about Trump. Hey, Brother Derek, why don't you shut up and play this link? This person was talking about him too, and look at he's talking better than you. That would be offensive. Not listen to this guy. What do you think? Hey, play this, man. I'm tired of hearing you talk. Play this. I see it go on in other chats all the time. I will be offended. If you came in and said, hey, there's something that you hadn't thought about, this person did. Check this out. They just throw it in there. Hey, play this link, man. They telling you to shut up. You boring. I don't want to listen to you. Play somebody else. Put some music on, truth. They're like, oh, why are you in the chat? We had some links we hadn't got to you. Let's get back to it. I said it's getting late. We supposed to be getting on Biden, but Trump keep popping up. I want y'all to look at this tweet right here and give me your opinion. Look at this tweet right here. It's not long, but just give me your opinion. So if any of y'all feel like talking. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. We don't want that. Yeah, not that though. Hold on, let me change it. There you go. All right. Trump said, I didn't back down from my promises, and I've kept every single one. He promised the CV would go away. We still got it? He promised the CV will go away back in April. We in August. Do we still got the CV? He promised it will go away. Said he kept his promises. He promised that we would get a bigger stimulus check than what the Democrats proposed. The Democrats proposed $1,200, and it ain't passed yet, but it's still saying $1,200. How is that bigger and more generous? I'm just asking the question. Where's our bigger stimulus check at? Where's our checky wecky wecky? Where's it at, Mr. Trumpy Hump? You said bigger. Better, more generous. They still talking about $1,200 if they ever get around to it. You couldn't get the Republicans to give us a $2,000 stimulus package? Your Republicans run the Senate You couldn't get them. You couldn't get them to do nothing. You had to actually use presidential power to override them. It's one thing if you had a Democrat-run Senate. You don't have a Democrat-run Senate. You got a Republican. Republicans run the Senate. You are a Republican. You can't get your own party to sit down and make a deal? You can't get your own party aligned? Why should we bring you back as the president again? You got everything in your favor, and you have to go out here to these extremes to get something done. See, a lot of people are going to say, Brother Derek, shut up. He went out there on the limb, and he made these presidential things that nobody really's used in much in our history. He had to go there. You want to give him praise for going there. I'm criticizing, why did he have to go there? That's the question that you're not asking. Why is it that he has no respect from his own party? Remember what I said earlier about being unified? The Republican Senate, the same party, they not unified. So what's the value of being either Democrat or Republican if you're not unified? But the Democrats gave us a stimulus package from the House that's run by the Democrats back in May. And yet the Republican-run Senate cannot get it done. May, June, July, now we're in August. They still ain't got it done. It's an embarrassment to the president that he has no pull with the Senate that's under him. The same way the centurion said, I tell my soldiers to do something and they do it. Why is it when Trump say do something, they go, shut up, Trump. But I told y'all we were going to take it easy on Trump tonight. And we were going to, that Biden came out as whole. That's the only reason we hadn't jumped on Biden. Biden actually came out of the hole. Oh, let me say y'all this. For those of y'all that didn't understand what happened last night, I sent this to a family member on the Hangouts. Let me show y'all something here. I sent this to a family member on the Hangouts. I showed y'all what it is right now. If you look, you see the humidity was 93%. 93%. I should not have been outside and 93% humidity. Me going out there and that humidity is just as dangerous as me walking into a biker bar when somebody else colors and names. I was asking for trouble. And no difference than me picking up, putting on a MAGA hat, and going to a Biden convention. Or putting on a Joe Biden hat and going to a Donald Trump convention. Asking for trouble. I'm out there singing and dancing and having a good old time, not even knowing I was in the lion's den. Not even knowing it. I was in the lion's den and didn't even know it. Let's get back here. We're going to show you CNN version, and then we're going to show you Fox News. Because Fox News got the message, and we're going to show it to you. They got the message. Sean Hannity came out. We still love you,
Trump. There is something I want to get to. Joe Biden is trying to clean up a gaffe, and this is something that happened during an interview Thursday with Black and Hispanic journalists. Biden seemed to say that the African-American community lacks diversity. Let's listen.
And by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona.
Well, the Trump campaign jumped on those comments, calling them an insult to the Black community and trying to limit the political fallout of the suggestion that the Black community is monolithic. Biden took to Twitter Thursday night saying that he wanted to clarify the remarks that he'd made earlier in the day. He said in his tweet, "In no way did I mean to suggest the African-American community is a monolith, not by identity, not on issues, not at all. Throughout my career, I have witnessed the diversity of thought, background, and sentiment within the African-American community." You heard, I know, Michael, a lot on this from your listeners today. How are they seeing this?
Not the way I expected them to. First of all, from my perspective, it just wasn't a misspoken word from the former vice president. There was a thought process there, and it was several sentences long. I think he meant what he was saying at the time and then recognized the political incorrectness of it. Brianna, the part that surprised me, today on SiriusXM, taking telephone calls from several people of color, African Americans, self-described because I can't see them, or Latino, Hispanic Americans, who said to me there was something logical about what Joe Biden was saying. They didn't take umbrage to it, and several questioned why he walked it back. I thought that was really remarkable.
That is remarkable. It's just in the approach here, though, not even the content, just kind of the approach here. You notice there's one candidate who is doing, it's kind of the thing that normally candidates do, right? They apologize, they clarify quickly, and then when you look at President Trump, of course, we know he never does apologize or clarify.
Right, and so, half the country looks at the president and says, my God, why didn't he apologize for that? But the lack of apology, and I'll say it differently, the lack of a filter is exactly why those who support him do support him.
That's a very good point, right? They love it. Michael, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing. It's so interesting, you're talking to real folks as they call in, and we appreciate you sharing their voices with us. Thank you. We'll see you on TV tomorrow morning, of course.
Now, I'm getting ready to take you to the Fox people in a minute. We fair and them balanced here, and that was CNN. Now, I'm going to say, what Biden said was stupid. But if you think about it, it was stupid, but it kind of made sense too. And I ain't defending them. I'm just saying it did kind of make sense. If you focus on the black people part, you don't take offense to it. But if you listen to what he said, it kind of makes sense. People that's at the Mexicans that are at the bottom of the country might not have the same feelings as Mexicans in the middle or the top of the country. People that's living down there and see them sneaking over the wall might say, yeah, come on, get over here. Just like we did. People that been here for a while and be like, I had to come in the hard way. I had to go through all of those paces. They just coming over the daggone wall. It ain't right. You know, when I go for a job, they gonna be looking at me like, you just came over the wall? I feel like I gotta prove that my family's been here for a generation or two and that I am an American, Latino. I didn't just sneak over the daggone wall. Whereas people that's down there are saying, yeah, come on in. Hop over the wall, come on, I get you a job, come on. That is a different kind of take. Now, most black people don't mind the Mexicans because it gives the racists somebody else to think about and they leave us alone. I don't know if y'all remember, but when you talk about the Nazis blame the Jews for crucifying Jesus. They don't blame the Romans, they blame the Jews. That's why they didn't have no problem putting them in them gas chambers. They thought they were dogs. But guess what? They hate black people too. But when they picked on the Jews, the white folks said something. But when they picked on the black people, the white folk turned their head. So the Jews didn't mind that, did they? There was a few, because there was a few Jews in the civil rights movement. Actually, the Jews used us to improve their position. But they didn't have the dugs put on them. They didn't have to go through the Jim Crow. But they didn't mind us being used. Most black people are like, they worrying about the wall. They ain't worrying about keeping us out. Maybe we can get something while this going on. I think that was what Biden was referring to. He just didn't know how to say it correctly. When the Nazis got over here and saw they could do more damage to us and not get no flack than messing with the Jews, they left the Jews alone. But they'll mention them once in a while. Them daggone filthy Jews. But these daggone niggers, we gotta get these niggers out of here. If you worrying about the Mexicans, maybe the police stop looking for us and start looking for illegal Mexicans. I think that's what he meant to say, but he just didn't say it right. Maybe he need me to be a speechwriter. I'm thinking that's where his head was. We all know he's racist, but I think that's where his head was with that comment. I really believe that he thought that he was being hip. He thought he was being cool. He thought he was being swaggadocious. Well, if you vote for Trump, you ain't really black. What kind of black people has Biden been around? Is your question. Because I've asked that to some people, and they've said, yeah, well, you vote Republican, you ain't black. There are blacks who believe that. Not defending the racist part. But I'm just showing you that there is a little bit of truth in what he said. Because there are people that feel that way. That's why it wasn't an outrage it should have been. Republicans tried to make it an outrage, and most people were there. Because most people are raised to vote Democrat. The Democrats give us the handouts. So most people are raised to vote that way. The old fart thought that he was being slick, but in actuality, he put his foot in his mouth. Not making an excuse for him, but he put his foot in his mouth. But let's see how the Republicans respond. How did old Shanny Hanny get it? Come on, Hanny. You know Hanny coming. After the challenge from Donald Trump, how did Hanny deal with it? Hanny said, I got your back, Trump. I got you on this. He said, I got you, buddy. I got the old Trumpster. I got him. He all right.
Kennedy, the left is getting very desperate, and breaking tonight, New York's liberal attorney general trying to dissolve the National Rifle Association with a new lawsuit. Really, just 89 days before the election. Sounds like weird timing to me. So is the state of New York using taxpayer money to interfere in the 2020 election? Why now? And we'll explain. I think there are other priorities the state should be concerned about, like safety and the lives of its citizens. We'll investigate that. Also, this madness, along with the left's conspiracy theories, their hysteria, their usual slander, all ratcheting up because Democrats have nothing positive to run on. And this is now a fact. Joe Biden is a disaster. He looks frail. He looks extremely weak, even from his basement bunker, with the lightest possible schedule of any presidential candidate in history. He is struggling and struggling big time. What a whopper day we'll call today. He's really not even campaigning. He's just, poking his head up for an hour or two out of the comfort of his own home. And yet he cannot hold it together. So far this week has been an unmitigated disaster. It started yesterday when Biden had this weird, strange, embarrassing public breakdown while touting his cognitive fitness. See if you can understand this. Pay very close attention to the words fitness at the end of this.
But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive...
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
Come on, man. Big bumper stickers and T-shirts. Let's see.
Oh, that's the president of Canada. Oh, no, we in trouble.
Come on, man. Loses train of thought 3 times in a minute. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. An elephant, a lion? Did he mean an elephant and a donkey? Meaning, what does he mean here? This is just, the beginning of his bad week. Why is he having such a hard time saying, I look forward to the fitness? Now, if he really means that, well, we can have the extra debate that Donald Trump has called for before anybody votes, before early voting starts. That is fair for the American people. Let the American people decide. Joe says he's looking forward to it. Okay, game on, Joe. Do it before a single vote is cast. Can't say the word fitness. And by the way, just a short time ago, just a matter of fact, he said, of course I had a cognitive exam. I'm tested constantly. Okay? When he's out of the basement bunker, he doesn't know sometimes what cities he's in. He doesn't know what office he's running for at times. He doesn't remember or doesn't seem to remember that we are endowed by our, the thing, you know, the thing. Joe, the answer is God, the creator of everything. If you forget, give me a call. I'll help you out in the middle of the debate. We can cheat. Nobody will know. Now, he can't tell his wife from his sister at one time, and so we'll use his words. Come on, man. I don't know what the hell he's saying. What's going on here? The Democrats refuse to talk about it in public. The mob and the media, they're not talking about it in public. But I can tell you, I know for a fact in private, they're telling me and many other people they know it is a serious problem. They can't put their head in the sand forever like an ostrich. Like it or not, Biden's cognitive abilities are extremely troubling, and they will be on the ballot. And what we're seeing, frankly, is just bizarre. It's not normal. That's all I know. I look at a frail guy that if he ever had a slow pitch, seems to be gone. And we witnessed today yet another disaster for Biden during a virtual event with the National Association of Black Journalists, National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Biden suggested that African Americans are all the same. What? You know, remember first we heard, you ain't black? Now this? Take a look.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Okay, we'll let you decide. Pretty much a terrible thing to say. Judgment, broad sweeping generalization. Earlier, President Trump, he responded, calling Biden's remarks a great insult to the African American community. Take a look.
Joe Biden this morning totally disparaged and insulted the black community. What he said is incredible, and I don't know what's going on with him, but it was a very insulting statement he made. It was a great insult to the black community.
And for the record, it was Donald Trump that put criminal justice reform. He's the one that did it, not Barack, no, not Joe. Police reform, that's Trump, not Barack, and not Joe. Funding for the largest amount of money and the longest commitment of time, historically black colleges, that was Donald Trump, that was not Barack, and it wasn't Joe. And by the way, record after record after record low unemployment for every demographic in this country, including African Americans and Hispanic Americans. Yeah, that was Donald Trump. Biden and Obama gave us 13 million more Americans on food stamps after 8 years, and 8 million more in poverty, and the lowest labor participation rate since the 70s. Worst recovery since the 40s. President's right. And by the way, can you imagine the hysteria on the left if it was Trump who made those horrible remarks? Keep in mind, this is not an isolated incident for the ever-forgetful and corrupt Joe. His track record on race is atrocious. His close personal mentor, as he said, the person he praised was, the former Klansman Robert KKK Byrd, the guy that filibustered the Civil Rights Act of 64, opposed the Voting Rights Act of 65. Lyndon Johnson relied on 80% Republicans in the House and Senate to pass that. Not a lot of Democrats. Al Gore's father, he wasn't there when history mattered. Imagine if Donald Trump praised the former Klan leader who, in fact, filibustered the Civil Rights Act. In the 70s, Biden actively working with desegregationists. Why? To slow school integration. Let's go to NBC News.
Y'all see Hannity bringing it. He heard the call. He heard that call from Trump. We got to find a new news agency. They ain't for us anymore.
On an issue that kept black students away from the classrooms of white students. And according to the Washington Post, Biden spoke out repeatedly and forcefully against sending white children to majority black schools and black children to majority white schools. 1977, Biden worried that his children, that happened, would grow up in a racial jungle. A few years later, Biden lied about marching in the civil rights movement. He also lied about endorsements from the NAACP in 1993. He's the guy that referred to inner city youth as predators on our streets. 2006, he's the guy that told the crowd, oh, you have to have a slight Indian accent to work at a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts. Quote, I'm not kidding. 2006, he bragged that his state was a slave state. 2007, he's the guy that said, this is the keyword, the first mainstream African-American who is articulate and bright and clean. That's storybook, man. Come on, man. Man comes up a lot with this guy. Anyway, last year he said, quote, poor kids could be just as bright as white kids. And recently Biden said, quote, you ain't black if you support Donald Trump. And then he said, of course, we're going to put you all back in chains. When you think about it, Biden's track record on race is nothing short of a disgrace. And imagine if Donald Trump had said all these things.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. Am I not joking?
What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South?
Better than anybody else. You don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. You got the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Okay, now if Biden were a Republican, if he were Donald Trump, he'd be ripped to shreds by his own Democratic Party and the media mob. I've laid out the history every 2 and 4 years, how the media divides rich versus poor, old versus young, black versus white. I played that history repeatedly. And by the way, Biden's statement today about African Americans was not only the only puzzling moment from his virtual event. In one very bizarre moment, Biden actually changed his position on the filibuster almost mid-sentence. This is the same exact virtual hearing. Not like, well, he said, I've been tested, I'm constantly tested, I've never been tested, how dare you ask me if I'm tested? Take a look.
What I said was that if, in fact, they are as obstreperous as is expected, we'd have to get rid of the filibuster. But the filibuster has also saved a lot of bad things from happening, too.
So you're
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I thought I'm on record as saying that if the Republicans, if there's no way to move other than getting rid of the filibuster, that's what we'll do.
Oh, Biden earlier today made comments about the diversity of African and Latino communities. I want to clarify. No way did I mean to suggest the African American community is a monolith, not by identity, not on issues at all throughout my career. Oh, we're laying out your career. I've witnessed diversity of thought, background, sentiment. Yeah, okay. As you can see, that just came out. He just tweeted that out. It's not just weak because of his inability to communicate clearly, but also he's struggling to shore up his radical socialist base. And by the way, now in order to make them happy, he is running the most progressive platform that's ever existed in history. Recently promised to halt all border wall construction if he ever becomes president, promised amnesty to illegal immigrants. In other words, will become the United Sanctuary States of America. He also said today that illegal immigrants should receive subsidized health care. Take a look.
Should undocumented immigrants also be able to get subsidized health care?
If they are working in the United States of America and they are paying taxes, they should have access to health care. They should have access to what everybody else has access to.
Most important thing to do. Worker?
No, it depends. Not all undocumented workers are working. You say on every undocumented worker.
They promised amnesty, just added to the list. Government subsidized health care for illegal immigrants. His $92 trillion appeasement for the Green New Deal is promising to spend trillions on AOC's plan, which is madness. $52 trillion doubling down on stupid Obamacare, some version of Medicare for all, free housing, free higher education, free healthy food by the government, guaranteed, free child care, free paid family leave, free vacation, free, everything's free. Now, all of your needs will be taken care of. Cradle to grave, womb to tomb, all of your worries eliminated, and a magical socialist utopia. The only problem is these problems are completely unfulfillable. They're false promises. The math doesn't add up, not even on Joe's, old-fashioned abacus. And if this radical agenda is ever implemented, your friends and your freedoms, friends, guess what? The friends that love freedom, it's going to be stripped away. Your wealth, it'll be confiscated. Your businesses will be destroyed. America, as we know it, that is freedom and liberty. And guess what? Capitalism will be gone. They are statists. These are socialist policies, and they will fail. It's been tried. It has failed too many times to count. And that is what is on the ballot in 89 days. It's all on the ballot in 89 days.
All right. So did he do a good job? He answered the call. Trump said that Fox News was not doing that job being for the Republicans, making them look good. Did he do a good job? Did he answer the call? Did he answer the call? And some of y'all say that we too anti-Trump. I told you, I don't like neither one of them. But Biden been staying out of sight. And then you know why. Because when he come out, he say something stupid. I keep him in the basement too. What's going to happen when they had a debate? I don't know how. Is he going to have to get his Geritol? They're going to have to give him a shot of Viagra to get through the debate? I don't know. That man looked old and feeble. I'm sorry. Joe Biden looked like if you breathe on him too hard, he keel over. I'm sorry. You imagine Trump and Biden in a fight? Trump come up there all hunched over here, and Biden just be sitting there like, don't hit me. Don't hit me, Donald. Oh, man. Sometimes says, I really believe God created CV-19 to curb the population of the earth. Well, let's go look at our stats. We ain't checked the CV stats today. Let's take a look at. Somebody get a cookie and take a look at. We got 5,149,723 cases in the United States so far. We got 165,070 deaths. We've had 2,638,470 people recovered. Out of the cases that are already closed, 2,803,540. 94% have died, 6% have, not made it. I'm sorry, 94% have survived, and 6% have died. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to see what that cat doing over there. I don't know what you keep going over there for. Go mess with that bulk acid if you want to. I ain't got no money for no vet bill. Go ahead over there if you want to. All right, let's look at our stats here. Look at this, y'all. They just inching up. California picked up 7,031 new cases today. They lost 104 people. Florida picked up 8,502. They lost 182 people. Florida is creeping up on California. Y'all see it. They creeping up on them. They ain't get far today. It's only 1,000 and it's only 1,400. They gained on them by 1,400 and something today. Texas, look at them. 6,892. They lost 166 people. If you look at just California, Florida, and Texas, you got 600 deaths. You got wait a minute, you got 1, 2, 3, that's 300, 400. Yeah, you got 500 and some deaths. Or yeah, that's crazy. You got almost 500 deaths between just those 3 states died today. New York City picked up 837 new cases. They lost 9 people. Look at Georgia. Sweet Georgia. Be on the midnight train to Georgia. Georgia picked up 4,423. They lost 69. Georgia is coming for New York. Georgia is coming for New York. Before September the 15th, Georgia will be number 4. I'm prophesizing it. Illinois, 2,190. They lost 18. New Jersey, 256 new cases. They lost 17. Arizona, 1,054. They lost 56. North Carolina, 1,699 new cases. They lost 25 people today. Louisiana, no stats. Pennsylvania, 588. They lost 11. Massachusetts, 420. They lost 12. Tennessee, 1,803. They lost 9. Ohio, 1,289. They lost 15. South Carolina, 99,000. 1,241. Ohio holding them off. Ohio got a spike. They holding off South Carolina. They holding y'all off. They actually got 47 more cases today. They holding y'all off. Look at that, 47 cases. But South Carolina lost 45 people. Virginia picked up 1,307 and lost 5. No stats for Alabama. Michigan, 721, lost none. Maryland, my sweet little state of Maryland. We picked up 775 and we lost 12. Thank God I ain't one of them. Thank you, Jesus, that I'm still here. Indiana, 1,033 and they lost 13. Mississippi, M-I, a crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, humpback, I. They picked up 1,210. They lost 26. Washington State picked up 910, lost 34. Minnesota picked up 916. They lost 8. Wisconsin picked up 1,165. They lost 6. Missouri picked up 236 and lost 9. Nevada picked up 886. They lost 29. Colorado picked up 431. No losses. Connecticut, no numbers. Arkansas, they picked up 772. 14 they lost. Iowa picked up 398. Lost 11. Utah, 376, lost none. Oklahoma, 825, lost 3. Kentucky, 782, lost 8. Kansas, 43, no losses. No numbers for Nebraska. Idaho, 573 they picked up, lost 6. New Mexico, 150, lost 6. Oregon, 374, lost 7, I'm sorry. Rhode Island, no numbers. Delaware, 57, lost 2. District of Columbia, 64, lost 1. South Dakota, 106, lost 2. West Virginia, 130, lost 4. North Dakota, 181, lost 2. New Hampshire, 39, lost none. Montana, 132, lost 5. Maine, 12, lost 1. Alaska, 77, lost 1. Hawaii, 231, lost none. Wyoming, 13, lost none. Vermont, 6, lost none. Guam, no stats. Mariana Islands, they picked up 1, no deaths. Puerto Rico, 738, 9 deaths. Virgin Islands, picked up 6, no deaths. U.S. military, no stats. Veteran Affairs picked up 254. They lost 18 today. Federal prisons, 44, no deaths. So we got 5,149,723 cases. Picked up 54,199 new cases a day. Total deaths, 165,070 people dead from this disease. And we lost 980 people today. 980 people died in the United States from this disease. A disease we could have prevented. Sometimes says we cause more destruction than all of the viruses combined. So let's look at what our president did today. I don't know where you just gonna come all the way out so I can see. There you go. Grab a hold of it. We got a commercial coming.
Thank you very much. Afternoon, my administration working around the clock in good faith, agreement with Democrats on additional China virus relief. Already my administration has enacted over $3 trillion in historic relief, saving many tens of millions of dollars in jobs, and you see how fast the economy is coming back. It does look like it's a very sharp V. We have a tremendous enthusiasm, tremendous spirit, and tremendous job growth. We set a record on number of jobs in the last 3 months. It's most jobs ever created in a 3-month period during a 3-month period. That's great. Before we begin, I've just signed 2 bills that are great for our vets. Our vets are very special. We passed Choice, as you know, Veterans Choice and Veterans Accountability. And they've been trying to get that passed for decades and decades and decades, and no president's ever been. But we got it done, so you have choice. You have accountability that if you don't love your vets, if you're gay and you don't love the vets or take care of the vets, you can actually get fired. When people love our vets. The first expands the eligibility for vets with blindness in both eyes. We have an expansion of benefits, an expansion of various elements of working with the VA for vets with blindness and particular blindness in both eyes. We have a lot of problems with blindness, VA, and we're doing something about it. They've been talking about this. Expanding eligibility for vets with blindness in both eyes. Okay?
Nice, so that get worse before it get better.
requires the VA to establish a treatment court program for vets who need treatment rather than punishment for certain non-violent crimes. You know what that all means? Something that we're trying to get done for a long time. This requires the VA to establish a treatment court program for vets who need treatment rather than punishment for certain non-violent crimes. Okay, self-explanatory. Wanted this for a long time. They've been trying to get it for a long time, and now we have it. And I want to thank everybody for helping us get done. We have a lot of support from a lot of great people, including people in the VA. In the current negotiations,
speed it up. Come on, man.
massive taxpayer bailout of badly run blue states. We talked about that's one of the things they're looking to do. Measures designed to increase voter fraud, banning voter ID. They want to ban voter ID. We should have voter ID in every state. Every state should have voter ID.
Let's stop right there. Once again, he said bail out poorly managed states. How do you know they poorly managed? If you know they poorly managed, what have you done to stop them from being poorly managed? Once again, this goes back to what I said about Republicans. They don't want to do nothing. And then they sit back and complain and whine. If you believe that the states are being poorly run, then use the pulpit of the presidency. Send people in there to find out why. See, this is what I don't get. Find out why. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Can you find out what's wrong? Can you stop complaining and actually get off your Rumpelstiltskin and do something? You want to say, yeah, there are problems with the police department, but are you sending somebody in there to find out who's part of the old boy network and to get them out of there? Minnesota has 300 cases of police misconduct that never been looked at. I saw a man say that somebody white called 7 doors down and said somebody next to him was being assaulted. A woman was being assaulted by his wife. 7 doors down from him, but they came and knocked on his door. They wouldn't have no problem. They came in there, didn't like the way that he said, why are you knocking on my door? They took that man, didn't lock him up, but they beat him up. Left him on the side of the daggone road. He went and filed a complaint. Went and filed again, nothing. So then the person doing the story said, hey, you wanted these complaints? He said, yeah, I gave up on it. They ain't doing nothing. So Mr. Donald Trump, why don't you have your people investigate these complaints? And why weren't they being served? Why is it that we can sit here and say, well, we know that the coroner, even though we see the man, we see Chauvin crushing George Floyd's neck. We see it with our own eyes. Why is it that I could confidently come on my show and say, watch that coroner going to say that it had nothing to do with it? And with the coroner come back and say, oh, the police ain't had nothing to do with it. It was the drugs he was on. But then an independent coroner who don't know nobody come in and say it was the police. Right then and there, everybody should have been investigated, Donald Trump. You should be looking at every police department. But no, you let the states just handle their own things. I don't understand how that works. Because I'm not going to go into the Mongols or the Angels, some biker gangs. When they open up a franchise, they have to have their meetings. And if something don't go right, they actually send people to go find out what's going on with this chapter. Why y'all having these problems? But how come when a Republican is in office, you don't go to your states and see what's going on with them chapters? You don't go check them out. Oh, we leave the states alone and let them do what they're doing. Then how is the United States? How is it a United States? It's got to be some kind of contract. If I want to get on T-Mobile or Verizon and I want the best quality, I got to get a contract. But if I just don't want to be tied down, then I go to Cricket, I go to Metro PCS, I go to Visible like I'm on now, Simple Talk, I go to these other companies. These companies buy data and the use of the cell towers, but they're not linked. Now, the one I'm on is actually owned by Verizon, so this is a Verizon product, but most of them, they own their own. And it's not until something go wrong that Verizon or T-Mobile will go pull them up. Hey, you doing something wrong on my towers. You let this stuff go on here, it shouldn't be on here. They'll pull them up. If everybody is on the phone at the same time, they prioritize their customers first and make the people that's on the Simple Mobile, the Metro, they get deprioritized. Why isn't the government doing that with these states? Y'all out of control. I got to bring y'all in. Y'all doing too much. Why isn't the government doing that with the states? There should be people watch over what happens. Because the states ride their cities. Why don't the government ride the state? I guarantee you that somebody in the state house is going to hear about something going on in one of the cities. They're going to go down there. What are you doing? But how come it's got to be a major tragedy for somebody in the White House to even say, hey, what's going on down there? And then, come on TV and say, yeah, they're crazy down there, but it's all good. No, they crazy down there, and we're going to go down there and clean it up. That's what you ought to be saying, but you're not. So don't come on the national TV and say, I'm not keeping an eye on the people under me. That's what you're doing.
You have ID on everything you do, practically. Everybody has voter ID. Everybody has.
He's worrying about that. He's afraid they're going to steal the election.
Nobody's prepared for it. Regardless of whether or not they have the infrastructure, they want to steal an election. That's all this is all about. They want to.
So that's why he's talking about. He's scared so they're going to steal the election from him.
And you see the devastating results of lockdowns too.
You hear what that man said? I don't even blame him no more. I don't even want to play him no more. Did you hear what he said? The devastating results of lockdown. Donald Trump, you the dumbest MF I ever seen in my life, sir. There ain't no consequence to no damn lockdown. You have no control over anybody. That's the problem. You're not respected and you don't have any control. You want to do something? Lock down the borders like I said back in March. I've been saying it every day. Lock down the borders, sir. Make everybody stay in the house for 17 days. Instead of giving that money to the businesses and the airplanes and all that other stupid crap, give every American $5,000 and tell them they gotta stay in the house for 17 days. We're gonna give you 2 days to spend the money to get what you need to stay in the house. I don't care if you gonna build a new pool long as you on your property. But you are not to leave your property for 17 days. I don't care, you're gonna build the kids a tree house. Whatever you gotta do, get daggone Xbox 5, PlayStation, get whatever you got to get. Turn your basement into a man cave. Whatever you got to do, have something to do for 17 days and stay your butt on your property. 17 days. Lock the borders down. Nothing in, nothing out. Bring our troops home. And say, put on the rest of the world. Tell our journalists that's around the world, you better come home. You don't come home, you can't come. Not to every country got rid of the CV, we now opening our borders for nothing. Everything we need, we gonna make it here. After that 17 days, you see, all them billions and trillions of dollars, give every American $5,000 to stay in a damn house. I don't care if you're illegal. If you got a house here and a mortgage or a lease, goddamn it, get $5,000. Stay your butt in the house. Don't go over the border. Don't go nowhere. Stay your butt in the house. If you are not medical personnel, you should not be going anywhere. You should be escorted by the National Guard to the hospital and back. No 7-Eleven, no anything. You got 2 days and $5,000. You better go to Walmart and get what you're going to get. To all the meat plants, you better hurry up and send your meat that you got ready. Send it to all the markets so we can buy it. The businesses are going to get money off of that $5,000. They're going to benefit from it. You ain't got to give nothing. Just give the people $5,000. They will spend it with the businesses. The businesses can take that money they get and start getting ready during them 2 weeks for the people to come back. After the 17 days is up, people can go back to work. There ain't no more CV. Now we can start working on changing our cars over so we don't need oil. They can keep that stinking oil. There ain't nothing that we get from China we can't do for ourselves. It's just cheaper to have them do it. We can start doing it here. I don't mind paying an extra $1 for my medicine. It's made here in America. And I see people going to work to make it rather than somebody making it overseas. I ain't got no problem with paying $1 more for a TV. Well, we can make it cheaper in China. Pair of tennis shoes only cost $10 to make. Why the heck do you charge $200 for a pair of tennis shoes? Why can't we make it here? And I'll pay $20 for a pair of shoes. Made in America. We don't need to go over there. That's jobs. So you got jobs. Because now you got to fulfill these things that wasn't being done. And this lets other people who are thinking about opening a business, let them take advantage of the grants and open up a business. And we can start making our own stuff and be self-sufficient and have the money stay in our communities. And the 6% of the country that run that damn thing, they're going to lose a little bit of money, but they'll get it back in the end. Because right now they control all the money. But when you do that, you open the market up. And people that have been doing oil for hundreds of years, them families going to have to get into clean energy. They're going to have to start putting their money, instead of making oil fields. So we still going to need oil, but we're not going to need it the way we need it now. They should be able to feed our oil to make the things we need. By electric stuff running. Make everything electric. Use the oil reserves to run as normal until we can get an airplane that can fly on electric and gas. Challenge our engineers, challenge our young people to make tanks, cars, motorcycles, boats, helicopters. Make them all run on gas and electricity. Now, instead of investing in oil so much, we can be invested in natural, more clean energy. Now we don't have a smog hanging over our cities, especially in daggone California. We can get rid of that. It's going to go away. We're going to be burning clean energy, which is going to get rid of all the pollution y'all cry about. We won't have it. Pollution in our waters. We won't have it. This is something that could have been done in March. It can be done now. But if you want to keep sitting back and making excuses, talking about the economy. We'll have an economy where everybody can participate, not just a few. Where everybody can have something. And that's the problem. Because the people that have don't want to give it up. They'd rather see you die than give up control. We got to get them people out of power. If you really want a United States that's unified, everybody got to be a part of the process. Everybody. And we can't keep sending our money to other countries when we could be spending it with each other. That's what we need to do. And if China got a problem with it, then we're going to have to go to war. Russia got a problem with it, we're going to have to go to war. Middle East got a problem with it, they can't do nothing, they can't fight. Supposed to be the best country in the world, act like it. Can't nobody do business with us till they get rid of that CV. We're going to get rid of our CV in 17 days. Watch the other countries do the same thing. Watch. They'll hold out for a minute, but when they see we doing good without them, they're going to have to do something. That will be somebody showing some initiative. That will be somebody saying, re-elect me. Despite all my faults, I get stuff done. That would ensure you would get 4 more years, sir. But you don't have the balls to do it. Because your buddies that's putting money in your pocket, your buddies is helping you out. And that's the real issue. Your buddies are helping you out. And as long as you listen to your buddies, we're going to have more deaths. As long as you listen to your buddies, ain't nothing going to change. As long as you listen to your buddies. We are the United States, like Naya said, one cohesive unit. I'm supposed to watch your back, you supposed to watch mine. If I'm afraid for you to look at my backyard and see what I got, I don't need to have the backyard. You need to take it from me. And that's what we got to start doing. You got something foul, we need to find out about it and get it out of here. You won't correct it, you got to go, we'll get somebody that will correct it. This is what we need to do for the whole country. The whole country. Not some of the country. Not part of the country. We need to do this for the whole country. And if we can't do it, how are we the greatest country in the world? Somebody talk to me. Y'all listen. Somebody talk to me. Y'all will listen. Everything I said is doable. But the people that got the power, they not willing to share it. They spent 400 years storing it up. It's time to open up them bins and start sharing the power and the wealth so that everybody, there should not be no American homeless at all. Get the homeless off our street. Why are you scared to go? You ain't got no problem picking up some black people walking down the street. Go pick up the homeless. If they won't go into the programs, put them out the country. Put them over the border. They're always trying to sneak over here. Send the homeless over there. Let them through the border and lock them out. Fake Mexico. We got these people here. Deal with them. We deal with yours. You need somebody in office that got some balls. When people are going to stop talking that mess and do it? You got a lot of Americans that don't want to do what they're supposed to do. Kick them in the butt. Everybody want to be separate. Everybody want to go their own way. Tell them to get out. We don't need you. Leave. Can't go nowhere. Don't nobody want you. Talking about you white folk too. Don't nobody want you. Arabs don't want you over there messing with their daughters. Polish and the Irish don't want you over there. Russia sure as hell don't want you over there. Corrupting their women? Hell no. Don't nobody want you. Make yourselves presentable. There's white people that want to walk in that store barefoot and no shirt on. Not black folk, white folk don't want to do that. You want to break every daggone rule and law. How you make the rules and want to break them? I expect you to follow the rules. I'm not going to do it. You follow the rules. I'm not going to do it. How we going to be cohesive, as Naya said? How are we going to be cohesive if everybody want to do their own thing? Don't you think the Chinese people want to do what they want to do? The government won't let them. Don't you think the Taiwanese want to do what they want to do? The government won't let them. Don't you think the Russians want to do what they want to do? The government won't let them. You think some of them Saudis want to do what they want to do? The government won't let them. How come this is the only country where the government is a wuss? I'll listen. I know this is the only country where the government is a wuss. Us in Brazil. Even the Mexican government, the Mexicans won't even do. Even the cartels have little respect for that government. Cartels in this country, the government a joke. Cartels in Mexico intimidate the government. Literally intimidate the government. Cartels and factions and gangs over here, yeah, like the government don't exist. They don't even waste their time trying to exterminate a politician, trying to kill a president. Yeah, we can just do everything in plain sight. We get locked up, we go on vacation for a little bit, come back out. We'll sell stuff inside the prison. We ain't worrying about no government. Isn't that amazing? A lot of people laughed when Biggie Smalls said, "Only the feds I fear." Why is that? So he only feared going to federal prison. He ain't afraid to go into state prison. Ain't afraid to go to local prison. But they're only afraid of the feds. Let them marinate. Because we got so many different attitudes and laws. And everybody's not even following all the laws. It's like we in the wild, wild west. Civilized a little. This country is just a civilized wild, wild west. But yet we claim we under God. And we don't do nothing God say. Everybody get mad when I start talking. Truth of the matter is, there should be more people talking like me. Things be a lot different. I wish I had more time on this earth. I wish I had some swag. I wish I could motivate the people and get them galvanized and energized. Man, They had to kill me like Martin Luther King. Because the law I would bring, everybody would have to straighten up. And guess what? They ain't gonna do it. They would just kill me to get me out the way. I would bring a cohesion that's never seen. We'll bring all the values back that we lost. And the people would revolt. Somebody. Gonna say, the country's doing well. Everybody's involved. I don't like it. We supposed to be on top. Why everybody equal? I don't like it. No. Well, you know what you got to do? You have to get rid of Brother Dyke. And hope that he ain't built the system up under him, which I will build if I ever get the opportunity. Because I believe in man down, next man up. So it wouldn't just be me leading. There would be like 50 people that can take the place. They got the values and the ideas. And if you take me out the way, they take over. You take that person out the way, somebody else take over. And that way, there's no way to get rid of it. That's why I said, you get rid of the Black Panthers. Get rid of the leaders. You want to take out a gang. You get the leaders. They wanted to slow the civil rights movement. They got rid of Martin Luther King. Malcolm X was exposing the Muslims. They got rid of them. You got to get to the point where it's enough people in leadership that don't work. Can't say, well, I'm going to trap this person and it's going to kill the whole movement. No, you got to have people ready. And that's what will separate what I want to do from what's being done. You only want a few in charge and a few benefit. I want everybody to benefit. I want everybody to be in charge of something. So that way you can't stop it. People care. You really think people care about going to work a job for somebody that's not for them? But let them be working for themselves. And let their children know they got jobs waiting when they get out of school. They can take that family. They're going to kill for that job to stay there. You ain't going to be able to come by and threaten them. You ain't going to be able to burn down. They don't rebuild until you kiss that butt. Because it's theirs. Give people something to own. Right now, they don't own. That's why you go down to the project. You see the daggone parks tore up. The bench is gone. Dan took the daggone rims from the basketball. Some of them take the whole damn backboard off and got it in that house. You know why? Because they don't have no stake in it. They didn't build it. You got house owners who complain. When the people come with the Section 8, they tear the house up. It ain't theirs. They don't care. They take that Section 8 voucher. You don't want them there. They go someplace else. Tear that house up too. They don't have no involvement in it. They didn't earn it. It was given to them. They don't feel like it's theirs. They know it's temporary until you tell them to get out. Why I want to go to a job, make you rich and I get nothing? But it's putting my children through school. But when my children get out, I ain't got nothing to give them. Why would I care? If somebody was going to blow the building up, I just work another job. I'm just saying, give people their own. So they can be independent and self-sufficient and start having to sit there and be waiting on somebody else. Hope somebody else take care of them. Whether you want to admit it or not, I don't care if you got a scholarship and you went to Harvard and you got PhDs. When you come out and want to make some money, what you gotta do? Beg somebody who don't look like you for a job. Why can't you have your family have a job ready for you to come and make improvements to it with what you learned in the institution so you can make that place bigger and better? Instead of going to work for somebody who don't look like you, making their place bigger and better, and it don't benefit your community. Tell me what I say don't make sense. You can't. The question is, how do you get the people that's in control to let go of it? Why is it that things can't be equal? Why is it bad to say people shouldn't be separate? If your culture says there are no rules, why do I have to sit next to you? Why do I gotta work side by side with you? Why do I have to have my house next to yours? I'm trying to raise my children to follow what God wants them to do, and you following your children to do what the devil wants you to do. How the hell we gonna sit together on the same block? How our kids gonna get along in school when they believe totally different things? See, this is something that needs to be addressed, because you keep thinking that inclusion is good. No, it's not. Inclusion is not good. Because if you evil and I'm good, how we gonna work together? If I'm evil and you good, how we gonna coexist? If we both have fast food restaurants on the same block, and I treat my customers with respect, and I give them good portions for the money they pay and good low prices, and you absorbing with the prices, your food is lousy, but you got half-naked women waiting on the people. The people that's gonna go see the half-naked women, I don't want them in my restaurant. But what's gonna happen is that they're gonna come in my restaurant to get the good food. And then they're gonna run to your restaurant and order something light, because they've already ate at my restaurant, but they'll come over there and get appetizers or something. You're gonna catch on to it. And then you're gonna start trying to find ways to take me out of business, because you're not willing to put good food for good portions, for good prices. You just think you can keep having half-naked people walk around. After a while, the people are gonna get tired of looking at your half-naked people. But they ain't gonna get tired of eating good food at good prices. So you're gonna have to knock me out. So how can we coexist? You're not gonna come up to my level. Instead, this is what this country does. We just gonna knock you out. And then they ain't gonna have no choice but to come in. And that's the way this country is. This is the way this country's run. What it's built on. Treachery. When are we gonna change it? When are we gonna change? When are we gonna take a look at ourselves and realize that this ain't working, this experiment ain't working? It's been going on 400 years, it ain't working. We got a lot of stuff under the rug we need to deal with. But we keep pushing it under the rug and pretend it don't happen. We just pretend it don't happen. All right, y'all, it's 12:46 in the morning. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope y'all enjoyed. I don't know how many different shows we did today, but I hope that y'all learned something today. I hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. Y'all have a great night. As Naya would say, I will see you soon. And as I say, I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you later on. So everybody be blessed, and thanks for watching. I know we don't have the yelling and the hollering and the dumb stuff that people seem to like, but for the first time tonight, the power is not cutting off due to the humidity. And everybody running their air conditioners, killing the system. I'm going to press the button and say, see y'all tomorrow, and thanks for watching.